am in a brand new place, fam, and I'm kind of getting used to it still. For those who weren't here previously, we've been working on this Next.js Pokemon typing game. Got my Charmander in the back, and kind of suddenly, I had to move, and so this is a new spot for me. But I have my own office now, and so my husband Joe can't sneak up behind me. Instead, he sneaks up in front of me, so it's always good. Still the same mic as before. It's hard to put in the screen, but it's a Blue Yeti. I've always had it, but it's a new mic stand. So now it's far away, and now it's close by. So anyway, got this new stand so that way as I'm like typing and stuff, it doesn't make too many loud clacky noises. But still same one. Love my lipstick. Wow, I'm not wearing any. I'm wearing lip balm. It's from my dentist. I don't even know if the camera will capture it. It's just lip balm. Let's see. You watch my video, Twitter videos. Thank you so much. Thanks for the Charmander. Yeah, the Charmander, I love that thing. That was one where we were kind of debating on if we wanted to move it. But, you know, we had to keep that one. So there's a fun story behind it. My husband and I, we went to Legoland. When was it? A while ago. And we were definitely like a good 15 years older than the average demographic of that of that theme park, but it was awesome, and we had a blast just, playing at Legoland. And there was a point where we were playing arcade games and stuff, and we won a toy, and then the person was less like, oh, I missed you winning, so it shouldn't count. And we're like, what? And so we ended up just like arguing and stuff with the people until they gave us a Charmander, and so we worked for that thing, and now we keep it forever. Let's see, are Keychron keyboards any good? Yeah, Keychron keyboards are good. I don't have any, but I have played with them, and they're all, from what I've tried, they're lovely. Yeah, no complaints here. But yeah, how are y'all doing? How was the past week? I can't believe it's been a week. Like, this whole moving thing has been exhausting, and I'm so tired. But it's done. I'm in a place now, and then we'll see how long it is. From Chile, wow. The heart emote is all messed up? Oh no. Where is it? What is that? It's just like a lump of hearts. It's some kind of diseased heart. Oh no. I'm very sorry. I can't seem to find the differences between the K1 and the K4, etc. I'll have to check. Oh, from Argentina. Wow. All over the place. I kind of want to look up Keychron K1 and K4. I'm looking at the difference between them because I don't actually know. I don't follow them that closely, so I couldn't tell you. I have a feeling it's a size difference, though. Yeah, okay, it's a size difference. There's more function keys the higher the numbers go. There you go. Solved. Here to solve all your problems. Where am I from? I'm originally from Chicago, and currently living in Seattle area. And so we moved, we lived closer to downtown, and we are selling our place. And so now we are in an apartment, and we're going to kind of decide where we're going from there. We have to figure out a few different things before we decide our next steps. But yeah, it's a nice new spot. You tried the cherry blossom keyboard. Oh. I am not using, I'm just using Xylence today. I've got my, trying to show you, this one is back. My light, I don't have my lamps yet. I can't actually find some of them amongst all the boxes, so I don't have any proper lighting. I have a window that's giving me light, but anyway, this is my board for the day. For those that don't remember, I'm trying to show without like crazy contrast going. It's kind of a dark room. It's a Korean board that I built. I actually went to Korea to get some of these things. I mean, I went for other reasons, but the keyboard was an added bonus. Let's see, a bit meta, but have you blogged about your blog? So, my blog, like, is very unmaintained. It was one of those things that I started a blog years ago and then made a few posts and haven't written in it since. It's a Jekyll blog. I will probably someday make another one. That I've kind of replaced blogging with my newsletter, and my newsletter uses button down. If I were to make my own blog from scratch, I'd probably use Next.js or Gatsby or 11t. I can't decide. Something like that. I would probably try 11t actually because it seems cool. Quarantine over here is fine. It's definitely not great. Like I did go out to eat recently though. We were like one of 4 people in the whole restaurant, but we had burgers. It was good, but otherwise it's very, very empty out there. From Berlin, wow. You started on your college apps and it's hard. Ooh, good luck. Good luck with all that. It is tough. One of your questions about persevering being a girl in CS, yeah, that's a fairly good topic. Thanks for following. SA keycaps? Yes, I'm using SA keycaps. So fun. Wow, there's people from all over the place. Oh, from Shoreline. Heyo. That's North Seattle, if anybody's wondering. Saudi Arabia. Oh, Hugo. See, I don't mind Hugo. I've played with Hugo, but I haven't tried to build anything with it. Would I use a static site generator? Yeah, I mean, a lot of these things are. Next.js can generate static sites. 11t does generate static sites. Gatsby does generate static sites. So yeah, I probably would. Make a log about making a blog. A blog. How do you think is important how important is the knowledge of data structure and algorithms? Very. You should know it. Like, you don't need to memorize every single bit of it, but you should be able to explain it for interviews. Mexico, Germany, Texas, Madrid, France. Wow. So many cool places. Choosing between Windows and Linux. I'm sure there's plenty of opinions here about what you should use. I personally use both a Mac and a PC. Currently I'm streaming on my PC and I code on it, and my work computer's a Mac. It's up to you. I think a while ago I probably wouldn't have recommended Windows, but Windows has been doing a lot of really great stuff lately, so. Wow, Egypt, London, Finland. Whenever I see the word Finland or think of Finland, I think of Spamalot, the Monty Python musical, because they do this really like Finland, 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 talking about how happy it is, and then people are just like, no, I said England, and all of a sudden it's dreary and tragic. And so I think of Finland as a very happy place because of that musical. From Dublin. Dublin was where I last was pre-quarantine. I went to Paris, France, and then I went to Dublin, and then I came home, and I was going to go to Madrid, and then all travel canceled. Such a shame. Can't remember the last time I used a linked list. I used one somewhat recently, like in the past 6 months, and it shocked me. But it was weirdly, like, the information about it was back in my brain somewhere. Oh, Vancouver. I wish I could go back to Vancouver. I wanted to do a few more road trips up there this summer, but sadly. Thanks for liking my Charmander. Wales. Wow. If you don't have to be productive, use with Linux, otherwise Windows. Woo, fighting words. But yeah, you can use both for sure. There's quite a few Egypt people here. Egyptians. Having weird problems with setting up Next.js on Windows. Well, I do have a starter project, and that's what I'm building our game on this stream with, and so you can try to use that, and maybe that'll help. Des Moines! Yeah! As an Iowa State grad, gotta love Des Moines. South Africa, wow. So many cool things. Oh, use Arch Linux, ha ha ha. More like Arch Nemesis. I don't know. Oh no, do your project, it's okay. I could just be in the background. Wow, hello Italy. Oh my goodness, so many cool places. Hi Prince, what's up? Tips for CS students. That is kind of a generic ask. If you could be more specific what kind of tips you want, I will happily give some. Let's see. Wow, we've got people from all over the world. This is so fun. Oh my goodness. You have a Next.js project. Do you think you should use SSR on every page? No. I think, well, I was literally up late talking about this with a friend for like 2 hours about feelings about Next.js and SSR. I think they're moving more and more towards SSG. Not even I think, I know, they talk about it. And SSR is great for some of the features that they are releasing, but ultimately they are trying to lean towards static. So use both. From Chicago, hey-o. Ohio, don't say just Ohio. Ohio's very great. I know a weirdly large amount of people from Ohio. My old college roommate lives in Ohio now. Portugal. Is this a Fortnite stream? It is not this time. Oh, from India. Wow. Interview tips on how to prepare for coding interviews. Whew. Let's see. I heard Ames is known for having really good tap water. It is. That's a whole large point of pride, for sure. Australia, Brazil, wow. So many cool things. France. Moles un montón. Gracias. Or molas. I was going to say, wait, mole, like the food, and then I realized I've learned how to read better. Let's see, what headphones am I wearing? These are Hi-Fi Man's 4EXX. I can find a link for it. It kind of is a keyboard stream. Yeah. Oh, from Romania. We've got... Wait, it's all Ohio? It always has been. What mouse do I use? I use... Let me see if I can pull it up. It's the Windows IntelliMouse Pro thing. I like it. I had one of those really ergonomic sideway ones, and it was great, except I was very slow at Fortnite on it, and so I switched to another one. What country am I from? I have good Spanish. Gracias. I actually lived in Spain for a little bit, in Cáceres. And yeah, that is probably why I have a lisp when I speak. What is my favorite mechanical keyboard? I love them all so much. It's hard to say. I do really love this one that I have, which, again, I've got the case and PCB in Korea, and then I have SA Oblivion as well as some other caps. I think I just unplugged it. I just heard a da-da-da. Uh-oh. Well, we'll find out later if I actually did. My camera's so crisp. It's a Sony a6100. This mic is a Blue Yeti. Let's see. I'm a JavaScript dev, but if my boss asks me to use PHP from now on, I'll just apologize in advance. I don't think I could do PHP. Hello, Deku. How did the move go? Move was rough. I did not have the best move in the world. Bye, Nairu. Nairu Blue. Have a good one. Yeah, move was not the smoothest thing in the world, but it's done. And that is what matters. And I'll leave it at that. You want to work while still in college? You can totally work while still in college. It definitely depends on the job and your course load and stuff, but I think one semester I had 3 different jobs just because I was, not wanting to end up in debt too much. And it is a lot of work, but if you did work like even as just a lab monitor, that job is so easy because you can just be in the computer lab and do your homework during it and stuff. It's definitely harder with quarantine though. I'm not entirely sure how that'll go. The Charmander's a bit blurry. That's because it's focusing on me. If I went back here, there you go. Now you can see Charmander. Let's see. Can you send me your Adopt a Pet app? You can? Share a link somewhere, sure. Do I freelance besides working on Netlify? I do work on a few things. Yeah. And not all of it is coding. Some of it is, some of it isn't. Like one of the non-coding things is I write the Stack Overflow newsletter. Hey, if you like the Stack Overflow newsletter, it's That's me. Favorite sub sandwich place? Subway? Hee hee. Who's the friendly plushie? Charmander. He still has my bracelet from Legoland on him. Have I tried coding in Rockstar? No. What are my productivity secrets? I don't think I have any. Just, I try to sleep when I can and go with it. Hey, Allie. Hello. How do you get your first job? Oh my goodness. First developer job. Oh, there's so many questions. So your first job, I would say you got to learn in public and put your profile out there as much as you can. That's like, it's a tried and true way. Apply everywhere, even if you're not fully qualified, and just get to know as many people as possible, because that would help. The camera is mirrored. Don't worry, my headphones are on properly. Actually, I can't promise that. Yep, they are backwards. How about that? Thanks. Is it hard to apply for jobs abroad in the US, UK if you're from India? Not necessarily. Again, you really have to put yourself out there, because it can be tough. Would I build mechs for a side job? Yes. It's not that easy though. So many parts take so long to come in and everything. It's not that easy. Stecco newsletter is cool. Thank you. Yeah. What was my journey from starting to code to getting my first job? I started coding when I was pretty dang young. When I was about 13, I discovered it and started doing it, and then I kept playing with it in high school, majored in comp sci in college, and then my first job was at Venmo, and that one I started interviewing with them because they were sponsoring a hackathon I was working at, or I was hacking at, and they liked it, and then I'm skipping over a lot of details. Long story short, I was speaking at the United Nations that fall, and the Venmo office was close by, and so I had an interview with them as a result because the timing worked out about things. Let's see, how do we feel about Rust? I haven't played with it, but people love it. Like, it's the most loved language in the surveys and stuff, so I gotta try it. Thank you. So many people. How do I motivate myself to work on stuff after work? Deadlines. Just gotta do as many deadlines as I can. Do I pair program with people? Like Dan Mabramov, we play Fortnite together. Does that count as pair programming? Any country you would like to visit or work in besides the US? I would love to live in Spain full time someday. That would be great. Let's see. Most builders require clients. Oh yeah, for building keyboards. Do I use monorepo on some projects? I have. I was actually thinking about setting up a monorepo for a big project I'm working on right now. I'm still kind of debating. My first programming language, technically JavaScript. Yeah, because I started with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but then I took computer classes in college, and that was in Java, or in high school, and that was in Java, and then in college it was Java and C. By the way, if I skip your question, it's because there's a lot, so go ahead and ask it again. No worries. That's a good humble brag, speaking at the UN. Again, that was a thing. Sorry. Long story. Oh wait, you know Venmo Lucas? Hey, Lucas is really nice. Wait, we have Pi viewers. That's amazing. Wait, I want to screenshot it. That's so fun. I have to mute my tab though, otherwise I'll hear an echo of myself. Oh, now it's 3:12. Oh well, so close yet so far. Anyway, interesting. Why Spain? Because I love it. I lived there in the past, and I love it there. The culture is great. The food is great. I speak the language. I love it. I have a tech manager interview next Monday, but I am super young. Ooh, good luck. So you're going to be the tech manager, and you're interviewing? Is that what the question is, or the manager is interviewing you? That's a good question. Is quarantine affecting my productivity? Yes, hardcore. Working remotely is different from working in quarantine. It's a very, very different vibe. I am most productive in the afternoon. Hello, Dunder Mifflin. How can you build a portfolio when everything I've done belongs to previous companies? That's tough. That's one of those things where you have to be just like, you have to be honest and be just like, there's a lot of things under NDA, but I would love to talk with you more later, and try to bring it up. I'm not ignoring your messages, I promise. There's just so many. How do I stay committed to side projects? For all of the side projects that I put out there, there is a very large mountain of them that have been untouched and rejected and ignored on accident. So I would say if you wanna stay committed to side projects, you gotta set deadlines for yourself, and talk to like a couple people about them regularly, so that way they can ask you questions about it and kind of keep you accountable. How to get over your fear of failure? How about failure is inevitable, but how you react to it will be good. And that's not meant to be a React pun. Ha ha ha. But you will always fail at something, which is probably a negative thing to say. But if you react well to said failure, then it's not really true failure, and you can do well. What's pie time? 3:14. Haha. What do you do when you want to code but you don't know what to code? There's a subreddit called Somebody Make This, and I tend to look at that because it's just people with app ideas, but they don't know how to make those app ideas. As if, oh, you're from Portuguese? Nata, am I right? I loved eating there. The interview is for a tech manager position. Ooh. So for a tech manager position, I would say the biggest thing to remember is that you are not better than your team necessarily. You just have a different role from them. When I was managing people 3 years ago or so, 2 or 3 years ago, I was not older than everybody on my team. I was managing some people who were older than me. And at first I was just like, ooh, this might be weird. But if you just remember, you're not like in charge of them. You are a role that is a liaison between the team and corporate. And so if your team is like, oh, I want to learn how to do iOS development better or something, then you like find the resources from corporate to do so. And so you just have to remember that you're not better than your team, you're not above your team, you're just supporting them in a different way. And I feel like if you bring that attitude to it, that's really what matters. Hello, Jason. Boop. I don't have any boop reactions for you. I'm sorry. Let's see. You can't bury me this time. Not yet. Should young professionals be trying hard to get into Fang? I don't think it's worth it, but that's just my feelings. Wow. So many people from Argentina. This is awesome. I wish I could pull off the Argentinian accent. It's just like, yo llego something, vos. Haha. Let's see. Oh, the node replacement. Dino? I haven't played with Dino much yet, so it's hard to say. Let's see. Do I have any good jokes during stand-up from when you were managing people? Oh, man. Probably. I'd have to think about it. I kind of just wanted everybody to be friends, and so we got a bunch of Nerf guns and would just mess with each other a lot. How does one find mentors? You should. I haven't visited India, by the way. And Fang is like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, and I know like Microsoft is somewhere in there, even though there's no M. So for finding mentors, don't ever like DM someone and do like a whole proposal. Will you be my mentor? That's not what you should do. People will just be just like, oh dang it, now I feel bad because I have to say no to this person. The best way to work on the best way to work on getting a mentor and developing that is remembering that it's a relationship and you're the one who kind of dictates it. And so what you have to do is come to people with specific questions, like people who come to me, for example, who I have an established relationship with. They'll come with me with very specific JavaScript questions, with very specific management questions or DevRel questions or something. I answer them, and that's pretty much it. And then sometimes we'll have a little bit of chatter after, but that's about it. And because that's most of our interaction, it's less of a formal, like, I am coaching you through all of this, because I think there's a difference between a mentor and a coach. A mentor is someone who can answer those questions for you, and then someday you can help them as well, or they can help you as well. And so it's definitely a back and forth, and the relationship grows over time. There's been this one person, for example, she's been emailing me ever since she was a junior in high school, and now she's graduating college, and she just emails me like once every 6 months saying, hey, here's what I'm dealing with right now. And then she gives me a list of questions, and then that's that. And that's been our relationship, but it's a great relationship because she's able to get what she needs, and I'm able to help her out in different ways. Let's see. Oh, there's so many things. Oh, hey, Pokemon Go friend. Oh, Barcelona is amazing. I love Barcelona. I have been there a few times. Then my husband and I also went there for our honeymoon too. It was great. Oh yeah, and Apple. So many big companies. How does one grow from being a developer to leading a team? I would say you should honestly talk to your manager about your goals for yourself, your career goals for yourself. Because a lot of times, like for example, when I did want to get into management and lead a team, I just made that clear up front. And I was just like, hey, manager fam, I would like to be a manager too. Or I would like to be a tech lead. I would like to do this. I would like to do that. The N stands for Netlify. Hey, no. But anyway, in establishing those expectations and goals, then my manager was able to say, oh, well, this project, it's small, but at least it'll give you experience. And then over time, because I was able to get that experience by establishing that early on, it helped me out. Even in my first job, I said I wanted to be a manager, but it was my first job, and so I got to manage an intern, and it was great. And then I went from there to managing a small team, then a bigger team, and then tech leaded a few teams, then stopped managing altogether, and I've been on IC work ever since. It kind of depends. Have I ever been through VC fundraising for a project before? Yes, but I wasn't the one doing the fundraising, so I don't have a lot of details on that. Let's see. How often do I do QA? Like quality assurance or question and answer? Do I ever find coding for a living depressing? No, I really enjoy it. Not everybody does though, so I'm lucky in that regard. When I was, there's so many questions. This is so fun. And again, if I skip your question, it's not because I want to skip it. It's just because there's many. When I was starting out, did I work on self-development skills after jobs? What does that mean to you? I mean, there are certain things that I did have to work on for myself. Like, I am a procrastinator, and I had to really get rid of that college mindset of staying up really late and getting things done right before the deadline and pacing things out. That's one of the things I had to work on. How's the new house? So we're in an apartment now. It's fine now, and I'll leave it at that. Our move was a little rough, but now it is better. What do I do when I don't feel like coding on some days? Anything I can think of. Sometimes it's just answering emails. Sometimes it's playing Fortnite. And sometimes it's just being really, really proactive about stuff. Oh, IC work is individual contributor. So if you're not a manager, you are an IC. How many hours a day do I work for my company? Sometimes 7, sometimes 10, depends. Do I like Silicon Valley? The show, it's fine. The place, it's fine. I was the one doing the fundraising, you know it. Any mechanical keyboard news you want to share? Actually, I might be working with this one group, and I'll find a link. Anyway, they make PCs, and we might be working on some keyboard projects. But that's not really news. That's just it's gonna come someday. But they gave me a coupon to share on my stream, and I need to find said coupon. Do I see myself leaving coding for a different role? Maybe like woodworking or something. I think that'd be fun. Do I prefer being an IC or would I prefer to manage a bigger small team? I'm kind of deciding. I really enjoy IC work. It's pretty fun. There is definitely an emotional aspect of management that sometimes it's great and sometimes it's very stressful. I feel like someday I might be a manager, but for now I'm happy with IC work. Thoughts on learning something just because you're interested in it? Yeah, I mean, you should. You should always be working on things that you're interested in. Like, I have learned the very harsh lesson of you shouldn't just do things just because it'll look good on your resume. There are some things that I signed up for years ago that I'm still committed to now because I was like, this will be good on my resume, and I regret it. Always work on things that you're interested in if you have the ability to. I would really, for example, love to do game development, but because there's so many things that I committed to, I'm not able to yet. And so someday when I have time, I would love to do things like that because that sounds so fun. Hello, you're from Mexico. How will I know if I'm job ready if I don't have all the skills in front end? Blah, 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 blah. So there are so many things in front end to have. And I think what's most important, and not all companies think so, but what's most important is to know how to learn and to have at least base skills that you can apply to other frameworks and stuff. Because like, for example, I don't know Vue or Angular, but if you tell me to, I will be able to figure my way around it just because I do know React, that kind of thing. It's you don't need to know all of these different things. When you see a job application that you are at least somewhat qualified for, apply anyway, even if you don't fit all the qualifications. How do I stay up to date? I subscribe to so many newsletters. How is Joe going to provide entertainment and sneaking past? Yeah, I know. He can't sneak up behind me anymore, and I don't mind, but poor thing. He can't be his sneaky self. Although he has scared me a lot because this is a very quiet apartment and he has snuck up on me many things. Any tips on painting a house? Hire someone. Haha. Yes, Jason, learning for fun is so important. My blog posts never get enough views. Any tips to get better at writing and content in general? So first of all, there's a great Discord called the Party Corgi Discord for content creators, and it's a really, really useful one, and I'm sure someone will have a link somewhere at some point. Also, although you can't paste links, so paste it like in chunks. Anyway, be consistent with your writing and also be willing to share it on social media and in different groups and stuff to get more eyes on it. Do you think a keyboard being made out of wood would be interesting and functional? Yes. I started doing that and I definitely need more to, I want to make more. Do I find myself learning as much as I used to do when I was a junior dev? Yes. It's more focused learning though. Can I recommend a good SCSS course? I think Scrimba has a good SCSS course. I'm not sure, Joseph, if you're asking me, but I am not Indian, no. How do I deal with all the newsletters? My inbox is overflowing. Same. But I do it anyway. And I just have infinite tabs instead. And so whenever I see an article I like, I open it in a new tab and hopefully read it at some point. Hello from Barcelona. Have I used a monorepo? Yes, I've used monorepos before. I don't have any on my personal GitHub right now, though. Let's see. What platform do I recommend for job offers? Do you like looking for a job board? The CodePen job board is great. Yes, the mechanical keyboard subreddit is awesome. But yes, Jay Lengsdorf, he put the Party Corgi Discord. It is awesome. Any thoughts on Blazor? No, I don't have any thoughts on it. So many things. DevOps? I am not a DevOps person. I'm sorry. I can't answer those questions for you. I'm just going to skip that one. Any thoughts on how a developer can go about switching disciplines once you have a few years of experience in one field? I mean, it's possible. Like, I started out as a back-end developer before switching to front-end. It's definitely one of those things where I got lucky because I was switching internally at my company, and so I just had to prove my skills to fellow coworkers rather than go through a full interview loop. But that's where being able to show your skills is definitely helpful to switch through things. Any tips on dealing with imposter syndrome? I've talked about this before. Imposter syndrome, I like to think of it more as imposter experiences rather than imposter syndrome, because it's not something that is like innate to you as a person, it's just something that people experience regularly. And when you deal with imposter syndrome, a lot of the times you have to figure out for yourself, is this something that I'm just feeling for myself? Is this something that like I have good reason to feel that way? And kind of ask yourself those sorts of questions. But also know that typically if you are in a job, it's because you've earned that job. If you are in a job interview, it's because you've earned that job interview. If you are on a certain project, it's because someone thinks that you can do that project. And there are definitely times where I've experienced it where I've been just like, there is no way I can do this. I am not qualified for this type of project. I am not sure what to do here. But you'll figure it out. And it involves asking a lot of questions and having a good community around you. And I see Joe trying to sneak up on me over there. Stop it. Okay. No! Charmander. Well, that sucks. It's sad. Bye, Charmander. Bye, Joe. Well, man, I see him like, he's across the apartment in a different room, but I can see him hugging Charmander as he codes, and that is tragic. Well, sad. At what point would you say that you should quit that job? Oh, did I miss your previous part for quitting a job? I would say leave a job if you have a better opportunity, if your growth is plateauing, or if the culture is not great. Or if you just have different goals for yourself. What's one thing that I absolutely have to do in the morning? Poop, maybe? Where can one find a good developer community? Discord and Twitter are really great starts. Man, I'm so sad. He still is my Charmander. Such a troll. View count is gonna plummet now that Charmander is gone. It's true. Have I freelanced before? I haven't freelanced full-time before. I've done client work full-time before. Pros and cons. It's nice to be able to switch around projects, because then whenever you have a bad project, you can be just like, well, at least this won't last long. But man, not great projects are not great. And so it really depends on stuff. There's a little bit more commitment with full-time work. There's a reason why I haven't gone back to doing client work. I enjoy full-time work more. What does my day look like? 7 a.m. waking up in the morning, gotta be fresh, gotta go downstairs. That's Friday, if you guys don't know that song. It's excellent. I wake up, I go to my computer, I eat food on occasion, I walk, I go back to bed. That's the day in quarantine. Joe's also a software engineer. Although he actually just switched roles. He's at Microsoft, and he was an SDE for a while, but he's decided to switch over to the PM side, and he really likes that. I do have a Discord, on my Patreon, and I will type it, patreon.com/Cassidy, if you would like to join our Discord there. It's a nice little place. Let's see. His name is Hamilton. It's 2020. What do I prefer, Discord or Slack? For communities, Discord, for sure. Because it's free and opt-in if you want to pay money, and messages don't disappear. It's a whole thing. But yeah, it's great. Hello, Melly. Everyone's just like, oh no. Team Rocket. Do I like horror games? No. I liked Last of Us, but I'm kind of afraid to play Last of Us 2. What is this super clear camera? It's a Sony a6100. Wait, chat paused. Oh, now it's back. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, you like the flexibility of freelance. Yeah, it's... Like, my team right now is so great. I admit I considered doing freelance when my previous company went under, but being able to work with my team, I know Jason's here, hey, I love working with people. It's nice, especially when you're working remotely. Um, do I get time to exercise or go for a run? Running is horrible. I hate running. But I exercise sometimes. I have a Ring Fit, and so I'll play with that sometimes. Um, how do I put myself out there with a website portfolio and a public profile on LinkedIn when finding my first dev job? Um, so there's a few different options for you. Like dev.to, they have some really good like message boards where you can post your job stuff. For different groups of people, there's like, for example, Tech Ladies and Alpha, for non-men. Sorry, if you are indeed a man. Also, Twitter is just really good, and different Discord groups. Really, just finding different communities and putting yourself in those places where you can not just say hello, introducing me, look at my portfolio, I'm looking for a job, but actually getting involved in that community and then being like, by the way, I'm looking for a job. That's when people are more interested in actually sharing who you are. Have I ever used WebSockets with Next.js? I haven't, but I want to. Jason, she has to say that because I'm here. I mean, yeah, Jason, you're right. You're the exception. Terra is definitely more fun, but you're okay. You're programming for game development only, and I only know one programming language out of time and money. Since I want to be a serious indie game dev, what kind of job do I suggest for learning programming languages and earning money while having enough time to work on your game? That is a whole hefty question. I mean, you can work at pretty much any dev job. I mean, find a role that gives you the flexibility to work on your side projects, and that can be in all kinds of different industries. And so I'm not sure what programming language you know, but there are many jobs in many languages. It's just a matter of figuring out where to look. Discord is too modern for me. Yes. Okay, boomer. How do I stay productive in the midst of a pandemic? I know. It's hard. Like, yeah. There are some days, like the past couple weeks especially, because I've been moving, my productivity has been rough. Like, I work as much as I can, but there are definitely times where I just find myself sitting there like, wow, the world is on fire. And I think you just have to try and be willing to forgive yourself and hope that your team will forgive the fact that you just have those days sometimes, or even those weeks sometimes. Oh, Jason, I got a job as a night audit hotel clerk so I could learn programming and get a paycheck. It gets the job done. I have friends who were office managers. Oh my gosh. No! Wait. What's on the mask? Wait, what does that say? Supreme? What does that mean? Is that someone in the chat?
It's a knockoff.
Oh, it's a knockoff Supreme mask. Okay. The helmet is too heavy for Charmander. Well, Charmander's back. I don't know if you can see, like, he attempted to make it a Supreme mask. Supreme. So, there you go. Good job, Joe. He's so proud of himself. Oh my gosh. What's the best source for learning to write clean and maintainable code in JavaScript? Good question. There are too many resources and I don't know which one's the best one. I'm sorry. Just do it. Pomodoro timers. Yeah, I haven't done Pomodoro, but I've heard it's useful. Some people actually have like ongoing live streams of Pomodoro timers so that way you can follow along. Let's see. Bye, Danny. Yeah, wear a mask. Haha. How do I rate the concept of coding boot camps versus a CS degree? Depends on the individual. I know some people who thrive under both and some people who are not great under both. You really have to be able to learn as much as you can on your own for both. Coding boot camps, it doesn't lean as much into the theory, and so you have to learn more of the theory on your own. CS degree, you learn a ton about the theory, but you don't necessarily learn all the practical things you need to know, so you have to learn that on your own. Both you have to learn on your own, and you have to do it. What makes a relationship work? Low expectations. Ha 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 ha. Hey Cassidoo, what would I change in React? And why or why not? Have I ever made such a disgusting code that I fell in love with it? Yeah, no. Some of my most disgusting code, I'm like, this is terrible, but I adore it because I did this. What would I change in React? I have to think about it. He has insurmountable costume design skills. Ha 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 ha. What would I change in React? I would change the documentation, which that's not in React itself, but that's something that I think needs to be fixed. And I would also... I'm okay with a lot of React's decisions in the direction where it's going. I think lifecycle methods, I prefer functional programming a lot more. I think, yeah, documentation and communication from the team, I think, is the biggest thing. All right, let's see. What's my current color scheme? It's called Hack the Box. I can show you later. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Nice things. Let's see. Low expectations. Ha 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 ha. I'm glad you liked that. Have I ever worked with Canvas? Yes. My entire personal website was Canvas back in the day. I think it's somewhere on my GitHub, an older version of it. Let's see. Sometimes when debugging, getting stuck on a bug can be so frustrating. Yeah, those days you'd have to walk away. There have been times where I've been just like, I need to go away. And then sometimes bringing a person in to look at it or something, those help. And then you can kind of rubber duck them because sometimes as you talk out your problem, then you suddenly figure out a solution. But those days can be rough. Do I think drag and drop web design apps are a good thing? Some are great. Some are eh. I've bought a couple because I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll try this. Maybe it'll make my life easier. And then I end up hating it and having to code anyway. So I feel like there's no such thing as no code solutions. There are low code solutions, but you end up just configuring a UI instead of code. So yeah. Do I suggest by starting with vanilla script projects and then going in React? I think you should understand how things work in vanilla JavaScript before going headfirst into React. You can learn React, but you should also study how vanilla JavaScript works. When was the last time I used classes in React? Yesterday. Not by choice, though. Whenever I start my own project, I use function components only. The only time you really need to use classes is for error boundaries, but I think they're going to fix that relatively soon. Have I tried Svelte? No. I should, though. Yeah, stepping away is a thing. Am I afraid of GPT-3 or do I love it? Haven't used it. Some of it's spooky. That's that. Is it better to have a resume in LaTeX or does it matter? It doesn't matter. Do it in whatever you want. Absolutely. Argentina, wow, so many. Hey, Relocine. Do I use RxJS? No. Viva la classes. Okay, Java developer. But yeah, for resume format stuff, I mean, you can do it in anything. I actually use Affinity Publisher, if you know that one. It's like Adobe InDesign, but Song is following. Yay, my husband follows me now on Twitch. What a day. Anyway, Affinity Publisher is great. It's like Adobe InDesign, except not a subscription. You can buy it once, and it's nice. Should I ban him? Go ahead, mod. Do it. I can fight with him later in person. Yeah, I like doing that. Although I haven't updated my resume in a little while. When I have been switching jobs in the past couple years, it's been like, look at my LinkedIn and look at my website. If you need more, I'll make a resume, and then that's been about it. But I typically use Affinity Publisher, and it's nice because it's more flexible formatting than like Microsoft Word or Google Docs or something. If starting with JavaScript now, is it okay to ignore pre-ES6 complications? Might be good to be aware of them, not fully ignore them, but you don't need to study them necessarily. Do I think React is going to be around for a long time? I think it will be around for a long time. Tom Zor's actually timed out Joe. That's pretty funny. That'll show him. But anyway, I think it'll be around for a while purely because like older things like Backbone and jQuery and things, even Ember, are still around because companies are in them. And so React is going to be around for a while. I don't know if it'll be around forever, but it'll be around for a while. I think what will happen ultimately is people will be making a lot of generic JavaScript libraries that can work with whatever frameworks you want. For example, XState I think is really great. And XState can work with Vue, can work with React, can work with this and that. And it's just state machines. And it's a computer science concept. There's an app idea. Make something that's a computer science concept that can be used for any framework. There you go. I was going to say you'll be a millionaire, but that's not true. Open source it and the community can ride on your free labor. In your honest opinion, what is the outlook on future jobs prospects for new engineers given the availability of resources today? I feel like there's so much more expected of early career devs today. The bar keeps getting raised. It's true, but it depends. And I hate using the phrase "it depends." So I think larger companies are places that are really good at hiring junior people and giving them a lot of coaching. And I think what you have to remember is you don't have to work for the Googles and the Microsofts and the Facebooks and stuff. You could work for something like Bloomberg, like General Mills, like Thomson Reuters, like ET&T. I don't know, a lot of different companies that aren't like very typical trendy tech companies, but need developers and are hiring. And those are people who are open to junior developers because they need developers and they're not as fancy or trendy rather. And so that is my honest opinion. I think the jobs are still there, and there's actually a shortage of developers for a lot of jobs, but people aren't aware of all the jobs that are out there. And so it takes a bit of research and figuring out all the different places where you can apply. How do you have time for self-study and improving as a developer? You just gotta make time for it. I try to just work on projects that let me work on stuff. What are my favorite switches for day-to-day coding? Xylence. I like Xylence a lot. Although, excuse my reach, I just got in the mail, finally, some Holy Panda switches. And I'm very excited about these. They're very, very tactile. Of course, again, I just moved and everything is in boxes and stuff, and I won't be able to build a keyboard with them for a little bit, but at least I have them, and that is exciting. Yeah, COBOL is still around. The fact that COBOL is still around, React will be around for a while. Have I heard about the issues with Angular in the GDE community? I haven't. I'm sorry. Does it feel good to have more people watching than... Don't say that. But... comparison is the death of joy. Mark Twain said it, and I stand by it. You shouldn't compare yourself to your coworkers in that way to put each other down. What do you think are the most indispensable technologies regardless of the programming language used? So that's the thing. Technologies are languages. It's all about concepts. And so most indispensable concepts to understand are like primitives, state-driven development, functional programming, class-based programming. Like it's less about the technologies and more about the concepts, I think. What is my take on Flutter and Dart? Haven't used them, can't say. How to become a millionaire? Figure it out and you tell me. Open source it and you'll be depressed. Ha ha ha. What is my monitor setup like? I have 2 monitors right in front of me. They're both, I think, 27-inch monitors. Can't complain. Let's see. If you say state machines 3 times, you summon David K. Piano. It's true. I worked with the guy. He just appears. It's terrifying. Yeah, change your money to Hungarian forints and you'll get lots and lots of money out right there. You've been in systems for years with very strong PowerShell skills. I'd like to switch to dev. What is expected of a junior dev? Depends on the role, but there are some teams that love PowerShell skills, and you can use that to apply to different jobs. What does RWC rendezvous with Cassidy? And it's also the Rugby World Cup. It's both. Why do you think Charmander has a helmet? But yeah, Rendezvous with Cassidy. That's the name of my Patreon, my Discord group, my newsletter. I just didn't feel like typing it out because it's a long title. Do I hate the typical lead code grind people do for coding interviews? I mean, it's annoying that you have to do that, but it's necessary for some people to practice that way. I personally try to maintain my skills relatively regularly through those things. Again, I write a newsletter that has an interview question of the week. Like, I try to solve that. I try to do things somewhat regularly so that if ever I do have to prep for an interview, I don't have to practice as much because I don't like prepping for interviews. Let's see. Am I considering streaming while coding? Yes, because that's probably what we're going to switch to. I typically like to do about an hour of this and then 45 minutes to an hour of coding, and we have a minute left of this until we switch to coding. But yeah. Let's see. When I build a keyboard, Twitch it. Yeah, eventually. Let's see. So many things. Scrolling through. What was that Mark Twain quote? Comparison is the death of joy. I like that one a lot. How do I deal with a senior who has a huge ego and stuck in his own ways? Kick him in the pants. I would say it's hard. Ask lots of questions. Keep presenting your opinions, and hope that you can, keep chipping away at that hard shell. My eye is blurry, so I can't actually tell if my camera's blurry or if it's my face. Sorry, my contacts were freaking out. What do I think of object-oriented programming? It's good. I'm about to be a U.S. new grad from computer science who's considering working abroad. Do you think it's a good idea career-wise to move away from the United States or stay? Do either one. Code is code, no matter where you are. Mic do I use? Blue Yeti. 1080 or 1440p? I think this one's a 4K monitor. I forget about this one. Seriously, how do you enjoy the team at Elfi? I really like them. I love the dry humor throughout the team. They're lovely people. And yeah, they're very funny. You might have lost your mod position on Learn with Jason. I'm sorry. Are you awesome and positive the whole day, or just when what I project on the internet? I'm relatively positive. I would say out of the public eye, I'm probably more sarcastic, but generally I try to, keep a good face and be honest about who I am. It has nothing to do with my morning routine or anything. That's just kind of a personality. Oh. In the words of my mother, I am a dork, and I just kind of that's who I am. How do Holy Pandas compare to Cherry MX switches? They are much more tactile. I wish I had all my keyboards unpacked so I could show you. They are more tactile and heavier. They give you a little oomph when you type. Pizza's a sandwich? Yeah. Let's see. Where do I get my sense of humor from? Yeah, my parents are pretty funny. They both have different styles of humor. I mean, without getting too into it, I have a fairly funny family. Like, I would say my mom has the more sarcastic, blunt humor, and my dad has the more punny humor, and same with their parents. And, like, I enjoy talking about puns with my mom's mom and with my dad's dad. So it's just, yeah, I'd say it is definitely a family thing for sure. What headphones are those? Hi-Fi Mans. It's my fave go-to website for getting up to date on front-end JS stuff. Twitter? I just have different newsletters and stuff. Yeah, it is a good thing that Charmander has a mask now. Branded one at that. Yeah, my camera isn't focusing on my face, and I'm not sure why. Perhaps there's a ghost. I don't know, something. Do I ever do Twitch sings? No, and you don't want to hear me sing. Drop the skincare routine. I put lotion on after a shower. That's about it. Tips to start creating content like videos and articles. Do it, but don't overcommit yourself. There's that. Where does the poop humor come from? Probably my dad. It seems like I know a lot. Let's ask a good question. How do you get a girlfriend? Stop sucking. Sarcasm and dry humor. I think that's motivating enough to join Netlify. Yes, they're great. Twitter is a cesspool of toxicity unless you're really good with the block button. I'm glad you all liked that one. Well, should that be the note that we switch over to coding? I don't know. I'm sorry if that hit close to home. I'm sure you don't fully suck, but you might. Who knows? I might have. Okay, well, there we go. Dang it! I just Jason, my coworker, just wrote that quote in my in our work chat, so that's gonna be great to talk to HR about. Okay, well, pity ban. I'm sorry. Okay, I have a coworker named Jason. Yep, that's him. Jay Langsdorff is my teammate. How do I deal with cross-browser issues for your app? Ignore them. Then they don't exist. Ah ha ha. Do y'all want to switch to coding or keep chatting? We should probably switch to coding, shouldn't we? We've been doing a lot of chatting. Yeah. Twitter is how you found us? Wow. Gotta love Twitter. Yeah, you never know. Okay, well, let's switch over to coding. Yeah. I'm going to pull up my screen. Bam. Welcome to the coding part of the stream. Why is the official Apollo GraphQL tutorial so broken? I know. I don't know. I don't work there. So, we have this Pokemon naming game. If you would like to see the live version, this is the live version. And the goal is to name the first 151 Pokemon. This is not Material Theme. It is from nes.css, which we implemented last week. And it is a pixel art thing. And so when you start the game, you can name Pokemon like Pikachu and Ditto and Charmander. I should have done Charmander first. He's right there. Anyway, you name different Pokemon and they show up if you're right. Nidoran. And there's little things that we have to figure out now. Because, for example, with Nidoran, you have to do Nidoran -M and -F for those two. And that's not clear. And so there's a few things that we need to make a little bit clear. Let's see, Charizard, Squirtle. I'm trying to make it like go on to the next line. Aha, so you can see it'll end up being just a giant block of Pokemon. And so the way it's neither in Spanish, yeah, but those are separate Pokemon. Nidorino. That's the evolution of it. So it's different. Why does Charmander wear a helmet? Because he was kidnapped. The VS Code theme is called Hack the Box. Anyway, so this is our naming game. It works, but every single week we've been slowly enhancing it more and more and more. Does it do anything when you get it wrong? If I type poop, it does nothing. And then, what's another Pokemon? Blastoise. Then we just have that. So it just doesn't do anything when when you get something wrong. And so I was thinking there's a few options. We could do a sound effect, we could do this and that. But yes, so we've named 6, 7, 11 Pokemon. When I hit I'm done, my score is 10. And so it subtracted 1 for my incorrect guess. But that is it. Was it Team Rocket that kidnapped Charmander? Yes, that is the nickname for my husband. But yeah, Mr. Mime, you have to put a dash in there. Same with Farfetch'd and stuff. So, but yeah, there's nothing graphical for if you get something wrong. And so I'll talk a little bit about how it's implemented so far, because we've already done it together on the stream. If you want to look at previous videos, you can. But anyway, so this is the app. It is a Next.js app. When you look at the typing game page, it has style.jsx. I kind of want to switch it to CSS modules, but one thing at a time. Uses style.jsx. We have a footer, we have the main game, and then we have typing game. I should change this to Pokemon typing game. I also forget how to do an accented E on Windows, so I'm just gonna paste it from there. Hey! And so that'll be the name of this. Oh, and I also have to run it, npm run dev. Because again, that's the live one. Ooh! Wait, why is it failing? Oh no! Uh-oh, well, I should figure out why, shouldn't we? Because that's the whole point. Let's see. Oh yeah, I could do double credit for Nidoran. That's a good idea. Let's see. Pokemon naming game, Pokemon typing game. Good point. But let's see why this isn't working. We have everything installed. Oh, and by the way, in here I'm running Flossbank. They sponsored my newsletter this past week. Flossbank is this thing that when you npm install, it shows an ad while you npm install, and then the revenue from that ad goes directly towards supporting open source projects. And so it's a nice little thing just while you npm install. But anyway, let's see. I think that should, npm run dev. I'm just gonna do some very basic debugging. Oh, it worked. Okay, just had to npm install. Perfect. Yay! Name that Pokemon. Yeah, this was you set up the international keyboard, then Alt-Right E. Alt-Right E. That is not it. I've just set it up. I know I accidentally turned my keyboard on my PC into all Spanish at one point, and I just constantly had the red squigglies from typos, so But yeah, anyway, weird. So, are you asking how I set up the @ for absolute importing? That I did here in the JS config. This is something that Next supports out of the box. If you set up different paths, you can make it direct to different folders. And so you can avoid having the .. / for like a ton of things. So yeah, that's all you have to do to make that work in Next. Anyway, we have our main page and we have the game, and this is the game. The header is just the title that we pass in with props, and then the footer, it's just this made with heart for you. That's the Netle heart on there. And so those are our two just non-functional components, and then the game component is the big hefty one. So we've made a few decisions that may or may not be popular, but this is how certain things are working in this game. So we're using useReducer instead of useState to handle all of our state. And so I put our reducer in a game reducer, and our initial state, we have the game not started, we have the score, the current Pokemon, most recently submitted, guest Pokemon, all of these things. So the different states are not started, in progress, and finished for the game state. And inside the actual game component, we pull out all of those state values, and then inside of here we use them where, first of all, we have this header text, we have the not started game state, that shows this start game button. The started game state, we have the Pokemon banner, and that's going to consist of all of our guest Pokemon, hence the guest Pokemon passed in. And then this input box, and that's the thing that listens for everything. And then you can end the game, and when you end the game, that's when you say I'm done and you get your score. When you end the game, you get that score, which would be 10 that we had before or whatever. Bye, Stardew Lightning, see you. Lightning, see you. And then you can try again. So these are these different things that we have used. And so I'm using this reducer for all of my state management there. Inside of the Poke API, we have this use Poke API, and when we use that, we have this little state called and everything, and what that does is that gets us the Pokemon ID. And this is the part where there's slightly controversial opinions of things, which they're understandably controversial. So we're currently only using the API to get the ID of the different Pokemon, when what we've done in the Pokemon banner is we actually have a sprite, and in the sprite, based on the ID, we are getting the sprite of the Pokemon. And that's because originally, before we did a bunch of stuff, we only wanted to get the sprites before we were doing other things. And so we are cutting out different things from the sprite to display them to reduce API calls. Now, we don't necessarily need to do this whole thing for figuring out like where are we in the sprite to show that. We could use a regular API call, and we probably should. But the sprite sheet has proven to be popular with you people, and so that is why we're keeping it for now, unless otherwise stated. But hey, as I can see, don't get rid of the sprite sheet, please. I won't then, just because you asked. And for the record, I've only caught the stream twice, so that's 100% test coverage. There you go. But anyway, so yeah, we're doing a sprite sheet for that. So we should add more functionality. Now that we've gotten like some nice styling going, we've gotten all of the sprites showing up when you type things, we should do more. Does anybody have preferences on what we implement together? Because otherwise I was thinking we could just like work on edge cases and stuff. Bye, see you later. There's a few options here. I see Joe. Joe just like stuck his head in the door and like stuck his tongue out and walked away like a true troll. So sound effects could work. Yeah, loading and error handling. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll probably see no performance benefit. How do I memorize components? Ooh, so many things. Effect for wrong types. Yeah. Something silly for an incorrect guess. I do want to do that. I would very much like to hear Pikachu noises. I wonder, does the Poke API have their sounds? Because that would be a game changer. Literally, because we would be changing the game to tailor to the sounds. Ah ha 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 ha. But yeah, does it have sounds? Because I would love to do the different sounds for all of the different people. Can we not fetch data using get static props? Yeah, we can do all of that stuff. We're doing the way we're doing it is not on page navigation. We're doing it within the game. Let's see. I wonder if it does have music. That would be so fun. Pokemon. I don't think it has there. You know what? Oh no. What did I just do? Oh, I did a command. Sound. Nope. Darn it. That would be so cool. There's an issue in their GitHub that references a sound library. I see. Where is their GitHub? Read more on GitHub. And there's something with sound in here, you're saying? Sound. I don't... Oh, cries. There it is. Oh, but this is from 2016. Do I want a giant zip file of all of the cries, though? I don't. Man, I wish it was just included. What a shame. Ah. That's so fun, though. Okay, maybe not the individual cries. I do like the idea of battle music playing, though. And I wonder... Battle music. I wonder if there is a way to like play it somewhere. I don't know why I looked up host. Probably because I was thinking about where it's hosted. It would be great if I just had a URL for the Pokemon battle music so I can just use a nice audio tag or something. Because I don't really want to host it myself. I could, but if I don't have to, that'd be nice. I could set up Cloudinary. I don't have a Cloudinary account. Is it free? Look at that, sign up for free. I'm gonna do this not on a stream because I don't want like autocomplete and stuff to end up doxing myself. Oh, Jason, yes, throw it on yours and then DM me the link on our work Slack. That sounds ideal to me. I'm going to pull it up on the side over here so I can be ready for you. Oh, I see other coworkers making fun of me in the chat. Hello, Jonathan. Okay, where's the link for the source file? Yes, let me find it, because I'm sure that there are many versions of it. Death battle music. Pokemon. Oh, I did it again. Okay. Pokemon. Yes, I would like to do original. For orchestra? Wait, I'm saving that for later. This looks like a remix. And these are all YouTube too. Can you hear it? I don't actually know if you can hear it. I could also just play like YouTube in the background. You can hear it. Oh, great. Cool. Pokemon battle music MIDI. Yes. Oh, dang, they have all of it. And then when you end the game, it could do like the da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so not everybody can hear it. That's probably my own fault. Although I have desktop audio, should be there. So that's weird. Battle. I don't need champion battle, I just want regular battle. Trainer battle, yeah. We'll see what that sounds like. Can you hear it? Bum, 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 bum. Can anybody hear that? Nice. Yay! It's very quiet. That's probably on me. Let me see if I can get that set up so you can hear what I hear. But hang on one second. Jason has Cloudinary open and I'm sending it to him really quick. High-tech stuff, folks. Okay, I want to send him the Pokemon battle, and then I also want to have like the success. Trainer defeated. Yeah. Nice. Thank you, Jason. Okay, I'm sending him trainer battle and trainer defeated. Let's see. Yeah, it's really low. I wonder, you know what's probably happening that you can hear it? It's probably coming out of my open back headphones into my microphone, and that's probably how you hear it instead of it actually being captured on the desktop, which is very funny to me. But yeah, that's probably my bad. I'll figure it out. So I know there's a use sound hook that someone has made. And also someone said, I hear meowing. That's Joe yelling meow across the apartment. Let's see. Yeah, and also, let's just turn this into Twitch Plays Pokemon, shall we? What? That's awesome. Okay. Anyway, use sound. Straight to the docs. Use sound from use sound. Boop sound effects from that. Whenever you click it, it plays it. Love it. That is nice and easy. Great. Yeah, let's add this. I'm going to go up here so you can see what I'm typing a bit more. Thanks, Josh. Como? Como? I don't know how to pronounce it. Which programming language do I use? JavaScript. Am I using Yarn in this? I have both package lock and yarn lock, and I probably shouldn't. I should probably just have one. I'm going to remove yarn lock and just do npm from now on, so that way I don't get confusing. Okay, there we go. Got our little ad going, supporting open source. Okay, MIDI seems to prompt insta download. Uh-oh. Okay. I wonder if you can still play it without doing the insta download though. We'll try it. If it doesn't work, then we can convert it to an MP3 or something. Okay, cool. Now, pm run dev again, and let's start using this. I might make a sound component or something. Yeah, I think I'll do a sound component. Background, or just sound. Sound.js. And then in sound.js, we're going to have a function sound. Like that. Because, oop, that's not what I want. Because in here, yeah, we'll just have this function. We'll export it and then we'll import it over here. Yeah. I want to export that. Export default sound. We're going to copy this. Like that. Can someone tell me the font she's using? This is Mono Lisa. Their website is actually really cool. I think it's monolisa.dev. If you look at that, look, it's her. Oh, now it's gone. Well, that was cool while it lasted. Anyway, that's the font I use. Cool. So now we're going to have this sound thing. And so we want to have play, use sound, and then we'll have it pull from that URL. But instead of boop sound effects, it's just going to be a path to the sound, theoretically. I'm going to copy it and try it. I should probably shorten that URL, but it's fine. Thank you, Jason, for your Cloudinary. And now we want it to play, like right away and not just on click. And so we have to call play. We can call play with a use effect. We can call, I got it. Okay. I'm just going to, we don't really need to do anything actually. I don't need to make this a component. I can just, that's kind of nice. I could put this into its own custom hook, but I don't need to. I'm just gonna put it in game for now. Let's see, I heard React is bad for SEO, is that true? If you use a single page application, you have to make some workarounds for SEO, but if you use a static site generator or SSR, for example with Next.js, I'm using a static site type of thing, then you don't have to worry about that. And so we're going to do const play from use sound, and then I think what I can do is as soon as, oh, I wonder if I can just do it when I click this button. On click, we're going to dispatch start game, and we're going to call play. Could that work? That seems too simple. It would be very nice if it did, though. That is the live one. Oh, I have to import it. Duh. Don't save. I'm not using you anymore. Okay. Wow, so many errors for... Next is very temperamental sometimes. Whatever. Okay. So... no sound. Okay, that didn't work, but that's all right. It might be because no, it's not because we're not rendering this anymore. That's not it. we have to, let's see, people are asking questions about next. You don't necessarily capitalize the file name. I tend to capitalize component file names, but I don't capitalize page file names, if that's helpful to you at all. I don't know if it's not working because of the link or if it's not working because of something else. The console is not the issue here. I'm just gonna start it over because that was just an error from before. Yeah, that shouldn't be the thing. What's the difference between server-side rendering and static side rendering? Static site rendering. Static site rendering is a site that you build, and it builds and bundles and stuff, and then you can host it, and it's already pre-built. So when you actually run the page, you're not having to rerun JavaScript or anything to render the page. It's already been pre-built. But with server-side rendering, that's where it renders the page from the server whenever you query for it. Does that make sense? I hope so. Yeah, that's a much clearer thing. So build HTML and things on build time, and then server dynamic on request time. But you can do some dynamic things on static as well. You could try checking if the audio gets loaded properly. Yeah, I do think that's part of it, actually. Aha, no. Okay, that's not it. Oh, it's trying to fetch a blank Pokemon. That's fine. I'll clear that later. I don't think it has anything to do with the actual sound. Any of these. You can do dynamic things on static sites. Yes, you can. You know what I'm going to do? Instead of doing this, I'm just going to have a test button, and then I'm going to copy this exact button right here, and then we'll find out if it's something that's my fault or not. More and more. This is what debugging's all about. Boop. Okay, cool. Then it's not working. I'm going to try a different sound. Do I have an MP3? I probably have many. I'm just going to, one second, I'm going to find music on my computer that I can use. But I also don't want, what's it called? Twitch to kick me off for using copyrighted stuff. Okay, that'll work. This is a very, very, whatever. I made a dumb audio clip that, bye, see you later. I made a dumb audio clip that would probably work for this, and I'm kind of hoping that you don't hear it, but hey, if you do hear it, it'll be a treat for us all. I'm going to put that audio clip in here. And we're calling it clip.mp3. We're going to try that. And now I'm going to try it in here. And so instead of doing use sound like that, we'll be pulling it from the sound effects like this. And so we will do, which by the way, for the Pokemon banner, sorry, I'm just looking how certain things are done. I think I can just do import clip. I'll do clip sound from, and then /. I don't even know if I have to do the // part. Why are you yelling at me? Line 1-3. I'm going to delete this sound.js. Sorry if this part is boring. I'm just trying to make stuff work really quick. Next makes it very straightforward. That's what I'm using right now. Correct. Oh, do I need a special loader to import sounds? What if I just did this? I'm curious to see if it'll work. No, okay, that's fine. Dang it. Do I need something for sounds? I probably do. Poop. Okay, that's fine. Next.js MP3 loader. By the way, I'm going to continuously check for a time check because I have a meeting at 2:30. So I have to remember that. Oh wait, they just canceled it. Never mind. Well, I probably should go at 2:30 anyway and do my job, but okay. Loader. Okay, well that's not the question. Or, well, technically that is the error I had, but oh wait, this is probably it. Nice. This is it. Next assets import. Great. So I do the thing. Sure. Great. I'm going to try it. Let's see, hang on one second. How do you stream while working full-time at a job? Just gotta make this work relevant. I'm going to be deploying this to Netlify. What time is it at my place? It is 2:04 as we speak. But yeah, the streaming is relevant to work, and so it's part of my work. But yes, I'm on Pacific time. Okay. We'll see if that worked. I'm very curious to see if it will. Would it be possible to put MP3 in the static public? The MP3 is in the public right here. Ooh. Jason said that he converted the MIDI to MP3. I also will try that because I would prefer to do that if I can. I'm gonna comment this out and try this here. La la la. Okay. Let's try it. Yeah. Oh no. Nothing's happening. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I don't know if you could hear that, but all of a sudden, all of the audio loaded at once, multiple times, because I clicked it multiple times. That was terrifying, and it was very loud. And it's probably a good thing that you couldn't hear it, because that would have really, really hurt your headphones. Oh my gosh. Well, thanks, Jason. That fixed it. So now I don't have to use that one thing that I just installed. Let me go to my package, and I'm gonna delete this. Yeah. It's a shame about MIDIs, though. Okay. Cutting this out. And I'm also going to have... I should have a custom hook for this. Okay. I'm going to try this again, but instead... with this on click, I'm going to call play again, like we had before, and see if that works. Oh, and I'm going to get rid of the thing and fix up my package lock and stuff. Whew. You could hear it a little through my mic. Yeah, I'll put my headphones right next to it. I'll figure out my desktop audio for next time. Sorry about that. See, how do I negotiate salary? Yeah, Alex's advice is pretty good about talking about outperform your work so they can outperform your pay. Haha. But I would really just say let's see, what's oh, sorry, I got confused about the chat. But anyway, if ever I ask for a raise, it's me saying, based on X, Y, and Z, all the things I've been doing, yada, 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 I would like to get a raise if it's possible. And then just give a bunch of rationale for it. You've got to be... It's an uncomfortable conversation, but It's okay. You can do it. All right. NPM run dev. Let's do this. Thank you again, Jason. Can I give us a brief description of what you're doing? I'm trying to make it so that way we have sound effects playing when we start our Pokemon game. It's just a quick little thing. So I'm hitting start. It worked! Can you hear it? Bum, bum. Okay, that's very fun. Wow, yay. Thanks, Jason. Woo! Oh, that's so fun. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into a custom hook, and I'm going to have one for using the sound of the battle has started and one for the battle has ended. And I should put these in a separate file. Things are getting a little big. So first I'm going to have a use battle sound.js. I should probably have a separate hooks folder from components folder. Yeah, I should. Let's do that. New folder, hooks. In the hooks, use battle sound. Yes. Inside of use battle sound, we're going to pull in that use sound thing. And then we're going to do use battle sound. And then with use battle sound, I'm going to copy what I had before. I know it's not imported, calm down. And here, do export function use battle sound, and then we have this const play. I'm going to return play, and so now when I use battle sound, I'll get this play variable that I can use, and we can name them differently. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to use ending sound, or use defeated sound, success sound. I like success sound.js, and then in there we're going to use this one in here. I kind of want to make that just a little bit cleaner with a variable. So I'm going to do const sound equals that. Oh, nope. Put it in here. Nope, yep, nope. Why? Everything is hard. Everything is tough when you're all alone. Okay, cool. That way the play sound can just be one nice little sound. Beautiful. Okay, then we're going to do the exact same thing in battle sound. I'm going to have those things, and then I'm going to have const sound equals that. Get rid of the things. And this thing. Great. Okay. Cool. Battle sound, success sound. I could do some kind of hook thing, but I want to wrap it this way. So now I want to get rid of this clip.mp3. You'll never know what that is. I'll probably reveal it later. And inside this JS config, I would also like to do an @hooks one, just because I think that'll hooks. There. So now I can do @hooks instead of doing like the .. thingy. And so import use battle sound from @hooks, and then use battle sound like that. Beautiful. Oh wait, export default. Oh, and I also have to name this use success sound. And I also probably have to restart things because I updated that config. can I just return to use sound? I could, but I'm just making it very explicit. But I definitely can. This is less about doing it perfectly and more about making it easy to understand. So we have use battle sound, and then we'll have use success sound. Because, for example, we're using that giant sprite sheet. We don't have to, but it helps people understand how to do things, so that's always a good thing. Okay, cool. Use battle sound. Let's do that here. That's end game. This is start game. So instead of play right here, I'm going to do use battle sound like that. Oh, and actually, if I do return play, that doesn't actually call it. But it, well, does it? Well, let's find out. It doesn't. Invalid hook call inside the body of a function component. It is. Usually this hooks can only be called inside the body of a function component means that there's more than one React on the page. More than one copy of React. But I don't have that. So something is weird. What debugger pop-up is that? It's built into Next. I need to use battle sound outside on click. That makes sense. Yep. I need to get play from it. That's annoying, but that makes sense. You're right. I'm going to do let battle sound equals use battle sound, and then let success sound equals use success sound. Success. Success. Okay, now in here, battle sound. And then when we end the game, I want to do success sound. Okay, now let's try it. Nice. Dun 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 dun. Now I'm gonna hit I'm done. Oh no. Okay, here's the problem now. I need to stop the sound when I end the game, otherwise that is just chaotic. I really that was really loud. Let's see. How do we end the sound with this hook? Finding and prepping sounds, great sounds, blah 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 blah. Use sound. Oh, okay. Play active, play on, play. Oh, you can set volumes and stuff? I totally should have looked at the docs more. Nah, okay, 1 second. Let's see, sometimes you want to play a sound when it's interacting, yes. Okay, nice, so you can pull stop from here. I'm going to pull stop. Okay, play, stop, return, and then I'm gonna do an object, play, and stop. Actually, I'm gonna make it a tuple so I can name it. Cool, and then I'm gonna copy this exact thing and do the exact same one there. And so, with battle sound, it's gonna be battle sound and success sound, but then the second one will be stop battle sound, and then stop success sound. It would be cool to do another one for like the dun 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 dun, like at the beginning of it, but one thing at a time. So now, when we're done, we're not just going to success sound, we're also going to stop the battle sound, because we don't want that to happen all at once. Okay, let's see how that goes. And I'll need to stop the success sound too, but one thing at a time. Okay, Audio context is not allowed to start. Shut up. It's fine. Okay, so we've got the battle sound. I'm done. Yes. Oh, this is great. Okay. So, perfect. I'm going to say that it's okay if we keep that sound playing in the finished state. And then when we try again is when we're going to stop the success sound and restart again. So we want to stop the success sound here and then yeah. I could put these in our reducer instead of in this logic. That might be that might be smarter. So instead of having this in the component itself, if I put it in our game reducer, then it just depends on states rather than depending on which buttons have been clicked. And so, sorry about all the scrolling. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to save it. Now, we'll play the battle sound when the game has started. And so when game type has started, then we can play battle sound. And then when we end the game, that's when we play success sound. And we'll also want to stop the battle sound. I think that will work. It should. Let's find out. It should. Let's see, what switches do I use? It's Xylence, 67G Xylence. Yeah, I could have an effect that depends on the reducer state. That's true too. Okay. Wait, what was that error? Oh, that's because I moved it. Okay, hang on one second. Battle sound. Yes, we don't need that there anymore. We could have an effect, but because it's being event and state driven, it doesn't necessarily need to be a side effect. But it probably should be. One thing at a time. Okay, I'm going to stop the success sound when we restart the game. And start the battle sound. It actually probably shouldn't, we shouldn't even have a restart game state. Oh, but we have the score at 0. Well, I could set the score to 0 every time and do that. Yeah. 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 Why restart the game when you can just start the game? We're stopping the success sound on the off chance that it's playing. And then down here, we're starting the game. Okay, I have to sneeze 1 second. Excuse me. Whew, thank you. You should know that Joe came into the room and is lying on the ground. Okay. Start. Great. Try again. Great. Okay, we are set. Dun 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 dun. Cool. We have sound effects working. It is done. I'd return a custom dispatch. Yeah. Let's see. I do die a little on the inside whenever a bug happens. Hey Adon. Or Adnan. Dispatch have an event if the event type. Yeah, I could do something like that. Effects would probably be smarter. But again, because it's like an event is triggering the state change, like, they should be fine. At least for now. We'll probably have a whole stream where all we do is clean up the terrible code that I'm writing. I'm going to commit this actually, because before we make any more changes, we should know that it works now. Components, git add hooks, git add, we got rid of that yarn.lock. Yeah. Great. Add sound effects. Cool. Pushing it. The theme is called Hack the Box. What about writing tests? another time. Also, yeah, time check. Don't want to do it too much. Yeah, I always do like 10 control C's. Yeah, so the Pokemon Cry thing is tough because like it's different for every single one, and there's not a good API for it. How about this? Homework assignment. Someone make an API for all the Pokemon Cries and I'll use it. Oh, wait. There's a merge conflict. Oh, no. With what? Oh, that? Okay. Just remove yarn.lock. Easy. That was dumb. Okay, there we go. Cool. Yeah. Great. You can run yarn again and it resolves conflicts automatically. Well, I'm trying to just use npm instead of yarn, so that's why I got rid of the yarn.lock. Cool. I'm content with that for today. Let's stop while we're ahead before I introduce a whole other set of bugs and we end up here for a half hour and I miss meetings. But anyway, this was fun. I'm gonna switch back to this. Ship it. Oh, for those that don't know, actually, let me switch back to my screen really quick. So what happens when I push? It is going to be on my GitHub, and it's called Typing Game. I'm going to paste a link in the chat. And as you can see, we've got this Netlify building thing right here, and that means that the site is building. So the previous version, if you were to click on this, there's no sound effects or anything because it's just showing the old build, and then as it's building and stuff, Joe totally just fell asleep on the ground next to me and he's snoring. But once this says success, that means the updated site will be live on the Netlify page, and yeah, you'll be able to play it. Obviously I work there. I'm doing this on work time, so I got to talk a little bit about it. I honestly, even though I do work there, I've used Netlify pre-working there, and I think it's great. And I really love the fact that it's so easy to deploy, and like because it's using static site stuff, you can roll back instantly. And so let's just say I did screaming on accident instead of the proper Pokemon sounds. I could just click a one button to instantly roll back, and it won't have to rebuild my site or anything. It just like captures that, and it's pretty cool. Also, you can't post links in the chat, and I apologize. Can I show the Netlify config file? Yeah, it's right here. It is 3 lines. Actually, let me pull it up in here. npm run build and export, and then publish out. That is it. If you would like to start your own next project that's already pre-configured for everything, in my repos, next Netlify starter. I actually made this for myself because I kept doing the same work all the time. Just posted it in there. It's a starter project where if you click this deploy to Netlify button, it'll automatically deploy the starter site to your Netlify account, and it'll clone it to your GitHub, and so you don't have to do any extra configuration. And it'll basically just make a site like this, a welcome to my app and stuff. And it's just like create next app, except it pre-configures it for Netlify, so it has this netlify.toml file, and then it also adds in a JS config so you can have your own absolute imports, and it does a couple other minor things. It basically strips out the gunk and makes it just a basic starter project. So anyway, yes, this is the starter project that I built the typing game based off of. Like I clicked this button and changed the repo name, and that was it. Seems simpler than that service that begins with an H. Maybe it does. Ha ha ha. But anyway, typing game. That's this one. Oh, and success. So if you click on it, do you hear the sound effects? Yes. Okay, it works for me. I should probably make it so you can mute the sound, but we'll do that another time. Do I play any games? Yes, I play Fortnite. Fortnite is probably the game I play most often. I play with people on my Discord and for Patreon. There's a few Fortnite players here on the chat. I like playing Civ too, but I haven't played it in a while because I have no self-control and would play it forever. Apex Legends, I didn't really vibe with it. I tried it, but I like Fortnite more. But I don't know, I guess my mind could be changed. I'm sorry about the snoring. Joe, wake up.
Meow.
Okay, there he is. Anyway, it was fun hanging out with y'all. Yeah, I know Civ is amazing. I genuinely love playing it, but it's dangerous because you're just like, oh, I'll just play one more turn, and then suddenly 4 hours later, you still haven't gotten space. But anyway, it was very, very fun playing with you all, coding some stuff, chatting with you all. The volume is super high on the app. Okay, we'll do that next time. We'll fix up the volume and everything. But anyway, I hope you all had a lovely day. I hope you all have lovely evenings or mornings, wherever you are. It's been a good time. Y'all are lovely. Does anybody have any last minute questions before I sign off? Not any big ones, please. Okay. I'm gonna take that as a no. Thanks. You're all great too. It was great hanging out with you all. Hopefully I'll get like better lighting than a window and better things set up after this moved, but it was really fun. Pizza with pineapple or without? Depends on my mood. What's the answer to life and everything? 42? Okay, that's it. I'll talk to you all later. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye!